Welcome everyone. I might get started given it's 5 o'clock. So start the October Ordinary Council meeting, Shire of Wyndham East Kimberley. Welcome everyone. Item 1 is a declaration of the opening. Members of the public are advised that recommendations to Council contained within this agenda and decisions arising from the Council meeting can be subject to alteration. Applicants and other interested parties should refrain from taking any action until such time as written advice is received confirming Council's decisions with respect to any particular issue. Members of the public, please note that this meeting is being broadcast live and a video record will be made of these proceedings and published on the Shire website. And I'll declare the meeting open at 5 o'clock. At item 2, record of attendance. I'll just acknowledge that this is our first official council meeting since the recent local government elections. So I'd firstly like to just acknowledge our returning councillors, Councillor Chafer and Councillor Timms, and welcome back. And also to welcome for the first time our new councillors, Councillor Bond, welcome, Councillor Kane, welcome Councillor Gordon, who is actually going to be an apology in a moment, but welcome her, and Councillor Martin, who's joining us online. Welcome to the chambers, and look forward to working together and delivering some great outcomes for our community over the next term of this local government. So with that, if we add that up, there are 7 councillors in attendance and 1 attending by Teams today. So in the room we have myself, Councillor Chafer, Bond, Kane, Deer, Robinson and Timms. Attending via Teams is Councillor Martin. We also have CEO Vernon Lawrence, Director Paul Webb, Director Nick Allen, Director Alex Bell, and 1 apology has been received from Councillor Goulden. No leave of absence requests have been received for this meeting. And I've just been shamed into it because I do have a departing councillor in the gallery, but I'd just like to also acknowledge our departing councillors and their efforts over their term in our local government and the wonderful contribution they've all made to our community as well. So thank you for that. At item 2.1, very important, particularly for me, but for our Shire, is 2.1 is the election of the Deputy Shire President. There's a very thorough list of requirements on how that is to be done, so I will call upon CEO Vernon Lawrence to conduct the election for the position of Deputy Shire President in accordance with Schedule 2.3 of the Local Government Act of 1995. Thank you, Vernon.
And thanks, Mr. President. I've received 1 nomination for Deputy Shire President from Councillor Robinson, who's nominated Councillor Chafer as Deputy Shire President. Is there any other nominations? Okay, if there's no other nominations, can I see if there's a seconder for that?
Yep.
Okay, Councillor Menzel.
Thank you.
And everybody in favour? And
yeah, Sally, if you could
raise your hand.
Raise your hand or speak.
Yep.
Sorry, I just cut out of there a little. Who did we all nominate?
Councillor Chafer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So that's unanimous. So I've seen that there was only 1 nomination. I declare Councillor Tony Chafer duly elected as Deputy Shire President. And
Thank you. Thanks, Tony.
right,
Thanks, Councillor Chafer. Look forward to working closely together for the term of this local government. Thank you. Thanks, CEO Lawrence. We move on to item 3 in the agenda, which is declarations of interest, and I have Neil. At item 4 is the response to previous public questions taken on notice, and we have Neil. At 5 it is a public question time, and I see we have ex-councillor Bradley Kine, who I expect would like to ask us a question. So thank you.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Bradley Kine from Eugenia Street in Kununurra. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the new councillors on their appointment. It's great to see such a diverse group of people serving the many. So I just have a short statement with a brief question at the end. So Kununurra, for the second time, has made national headlines with youth chasing police in stolen cars. These headlines are not only damaging for the community and tourism operators, but they fail to address the victims of these crimes. Behind every stolen car is a person or family that has had their home invaded. This creates an immense psychological impact on these victims, in which they'll be living in fear that something like this can happen again. These victims often become sleep deprived and highly strung, and this often leads to them either leaving Kununurra or they make reckless decisions in the heat of the moment. It is time to support these victims. One way to prevent further victims is disincentivising the thrill of stealing a car. In fact, the Shire has already done this before with the installation of the police protection barriers. It is very rare that local government can make a decision that has an almost instant effect. Those barriers allowed our local police to safe places to deploy spike strips, allowing them to stop stolen vehicles faster and completely remove the thrill of racing a car around town for hours on end. The success of the police protection barriers was clear as day in the crime statistics. The Shire had an effective tool to prevent further victims. Those barriers were removed due to an insurance company refusing to insure the Shire if something went wrong. Effectively, an insurance company has forced a democratically elected council to overturn a decision that is ultimately not in the best interest of the vast majority of the Shire residents. These same insurance companies are then drastically increasing premiums year on year and in some cases refusing to renew policies, leaving our businesses and residents completely underinsured. In summary, I urge the council to re-implement the police protection barriers in their previous format until a permanent solution can be found. Let's protect the people that protect us every day and send a clear message to victims that we support you. Thank you.
CEO, would you like to respond to the situation regarding the police barriers?
Police
or the
protection
questions
barriers. Yes,
asked?
Mr. President, yes. I did get advance warning from former Councillor Kine on this matter, and I contacted LGIS, who the Shire's insurers, to ask for an update. I contacted the CEO, sent him an email asking for an update. I haven't had a response at this point in time. The process was that we got some legal advice at a point in time. LGIS asked if we would make that legal advice available to them to supply to their legal advisors, so they can get to us an opinion as to whether we can do this or not. They haven't resolved that as yet, and I haven't had any further correspondence. The situation remains is that we're placing frangible objects in a road reserve, which if somebody gets severely injured, it exposes both us and the insurance company to a liability. So at this point in time, the situation is still pretty much the same until we get the advice from, and I understood it was a Queen's Council at that time, but obviously now a King Council. We're going to give an opinion on the matter, but I'll continue to follow that up.
Thanks, CEO. I look forward to a response at their earliest convenience. Councillor Schaefer.
Look, can I just add to you, I've never agreed with LGIS's position on this because, and I did provide some advice to go to some evidence to go to LGIS on that. That would mean essentially that every single bus stop in our state is uninsurable that's in a road reserve. Every single concrete bridge that's in a road reserve in our state is uninsurable. Every single power pole is uninsurable, and every single light pole is uninsurable. Because this is a rock, so it's not, I wouldn't say it's not an engineered structure, because you can engineer rocks without an issue. I just fail to see the logic in their position on this, and you know, I'd really like to see us, given what's just happened, to actually challenge their logic on their decision. You know, outside of the normal legal advice that we're going to get, but I ask them why a bus stop, why a bridge, why a light pole, why a power pole can be insured if a rock can't.
Thanks, Councillor Schaefer. I'm sure CEO could take that.
Yeah, Councillor Schaefer, we did put that exact scenario through to them, and that's the reason why they've gone through and sought further legal advice from an advocate, basically. So that advice hasn't been communicated back to us at this point in time.
Thank you, and thanks, Mr. Kine. Thank you, Brad, for that. Thank you. Okay, no other questions. We shall move on to the agenda to item 6, which is application for leave of absence. We have an application from Councillor Viner Gordon from the period of 24th of October to the 28th of November. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that? Councillor Robinson, and a seconder, Councillor Schaefer. Against? All in favour? 8-0. At 7, we have petitions, with which we have nil. At 8, we have confirmation of the minutes. Do I have a Councillor Robinson.
Just to clarify, on the minutes, it's got each resolution is 7-0, but there's only 6 councillors on there. Is that because there was one on? Is it? Do we separate?
Just missed a name. I can go through and double check that.
Okay. So there's no separation between on teams to the room, right? No, I'll move it with that, with an amendment. Yeah.
Okay. Someone like to second that, please? Councillor Timms. Sorry, that was 8. Yep, 8. So Councillor Robinson, Councillor Timms. Anyone against? All in favour? Thank you. 8-0. At item 9 is the announcements by the person presiding. The 6th of October is Kimberley Development Commission Board meeting, as I'm a member and attended. 10th of October is the YYN Friday Reference Group, attended by myself. Yep. The 15th of October was the Kununurra Youth Night Space Co-Design Project Consultation Workshop number 1, attended by myself. I think I was the only councillor. 18th of October was the local government ordinary election, as mentioned previously, overseen by West Australian Electoral Commission Returning Officer Ken Rogers and observed by the Shire President and CEO. 21st of October, the swearing in of councillors-elect, attended by myself, councillors and the CEO. 28th of October was, which is today, was a YYN group meeting to discuss the escalation in youth crime, attended by myself and the CEO. And just to note, over the past 4 or 5 days, I've done numerous media comments around the youth crime escalation, as have some other members, or another member, Councillor Bond in her other role, to acknowledge the issue and really to reinforce the community working together to resolve these issues. Thank you. At item 10 on the agenda is matters for which the meeting may be closed, and we have one at item 16.1, which is the consideration of purchase of a concrete crushing plant. At 11, deputations, presentations, submissions, we have nil. At reports, 12.1, matters arising from the committees of council, we have nil. At page 5 of the agenda, at item 12.2, office of the CEO, hang on.
Yeah, Mr. President, we just wanted to make sure that we've got a minute to confirm that the process had taken place.
Very good. Very clear. Thank you. So do I have a mover and a seconder that the Deputy Show President's been duly elected? Councillor Bond. And a seconder, Councillor Timms. Against? All in favour? 8-0. And again, congratulations, Councillor Schaefer. At page 7 of the agenda, at item 12.2.2 is a standing item on the use of the common seal. Any queries or questions? Councillor
Just a quick
Robertson.
one. Has the minister approved the amendment? Is that why the common seal has been applied?
Sorry.
Has the minister approved the amendment
Of the amendment,
for the planning scheme? Because that's what the common seal is applied. So does the common seal get applied after the minister approves?
no,
it,
it
or
gets
is
applied and then sent down to.
So we
Yep.
we send the common seal
Yep.
for
Yes. So it's put on the document and the document sent away. Yep.
As an official document of our local
Yeah,
government.
that's correct. Yep.
So I'm looking for a mover and a seconder, if I could. Thank you, Councillor Robinson. And a seconder, Councillor Deere. Against? All in favour? 8-0. Thank you. At page 9 of the agenda at 12.2.3, the standing item on the outstanding actions from previous council resolutions. I know we were going to devote significant time to this in a session outside of a council meeting, but are there any queries or clarifications sought on this item? If not, looking for a mover and a seconder, if I could. Councillor Schaefer and Councillor Deere. Against? All in favour? 8-0. Thank you. At page 11 of the agenda at item 12.2.4 is the minutes and recommendations from the Kimberley Country Zone and the Kimberley Regional Group meetings. Any clarification sought? If not, looking for a mover and a seconder, if I could, please. Councillor Deere. Councillor Schaefer. Against? All in favour? 8-0. At page 15 of the agenda, we may take a little bit of time to work through this, but at 12.2.5, we have representation and committees. As this is the first council meeting following a local government election, we are bound to fill all those positions required on representation and committees. I propose to read through them and maybe ask for any objections. We have done considerable work in finding positions that people are keen to be representatives on. So if I read through, and I'll ask for any discussion or what was I going to say? Any comments around it. So I'll start with the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. Representative 1, Councillor Robinson. Representative 2, Councillor Schaefer. Representative 3, Councillor Goulden. And Proxy, Councillor Bond. Is there any discussion required? If not, I'll move on to the next committee, which is the East Kimberley Regional Airport Committee. Representative 1, Councillor Bond. Representative 2, Councillor Menzel, myself. Representative 3, Councillor Robinson. And Proxy, Councillor Schaefer. Any discussion? If not, I'll move on to the legislated committees and panels. The CEO Review and Selection Panel. Representative 1 is myself. Representative 2, Councillor Schaefer. Representative 3, Councillor Kane. Proxy, Councillor Goulden. Any discussion? Move on to the Local Emergency Management Committee. Representative 1, Councillor Martin. Representative 2, Councillor Timms. And proxy, Councillor Deere. Any discussion? We'll move on to the Bushfire Advisory Committee. Representative 1, Councillor Chafer. Representative 2, Councillor Goulden. And proxy, Councillor Deere. Any discussion? We'll move on to the Development Assessment Panel. Representative 1, Councillor Chafer. Representative 2, Councillor Bond. Proxy 1, Councillor Robinson. And proxy 2, myself, Councillor Menzel. Any discussion? At 3, we endorse the following representation on regional representation committees and panels. Of that, we have, first one is WALGA, the West Australian Local Government Association, Kimberley Country Zone. Representative 1, the Shire President. Representative 2, the Deputy Shire President. Proxy 1, Councillor Martin. Proxy 2, Councillor Bond. Any discussion? Next one is the Kimberley Regional Group. Representative 1, the Shire President. Representative 2, the Deputy Shire President. Proxy 1, Councillor Martin. Proxy 2, Councillor Bond. Any discussion? On the Kimberley Regional Road Group, we need 1 representative, Councillor Deere, and proxy, Councillor Kane. Next, we endorse the following representation on local representation committees and panels. The Kununurra School and Library Committee, representative Councillor Martin and proxy Councillor Kane. Any discussion? On the Disability Access and Inclusion Committee, Councillor Deere, representative 1, and Councillor Kane, representative 2, and proxy Councillor Martin. On the next one, which is the Shire of Wyndham East Kimberley Roadwise Committee, representative 1 is Councillor Deere, and I'm looking for a proxy if I could find a volunteer. Councillor Bond. Any discussion? Thank you, Councillor Bond. I'll move on to the Kununurra Visitor Centre, representative Councillor Goulden and proxy Councillor Martin. On the Kununurra Wyndham Alcohol Accord, representative 1, Councillor Chafer. Representative 2, Councillor Robinson. And proxy, Councillor Bond. On Lake Kununurra Foreshore Reference Committee, representative 1, Councillor Kane. Representative 2, Councillor Bond. And proxy, Councillor Goulden. On the East Kimberley Marketing Group, representative Councillor Robinson and proxy Councillor Kane. Also to endorse the following Shire Officer representation on the Australian Airports Association. The representative will be the Chief Executive Officer and the proxy being the Airport Manager. Any discussion on any of that? Otherwise, I'd like to ask for a mover and a seconder for those positions. Councillor Chafer and Councillor Kane. Thank you. Against? All in favour? 8-0. Thank you, councillors, for that, and I hope you find the experience rewarding. Excuse me. The experience rewarding, and we can all deliver some benefits to those entities. We move to page 25 of the agenda, and we're on 12.3, which is planning and community development. The draft community safety plan we're looking for endorsing. Director Allen, any comments you'd like to make, given this is your body of work? Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. President. Just following the briefing sessions around some of the queries on measurables, staff will incorporate a document that sits within the safety plan that will outline some KPIs and some measurables. How that looks isn't entirely finalised yet, but it's something that we'll begin working on. At this point, we're we're just seeking endorsement from council to go out and start engaging with community to ensure that that we're on the right track as far as the plan goes and the content within it.
Councillor Kane, I think that was at your suggestion. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, thank you, Nick, for taking that into consideration. I think measurables would be great.
Thanks, Director Allen. Thanks, Councillor Kane. Councillor Bond.
I've put some comments, because I made some comments as well, and just put them into the feedback document that's in Teams. I don't know. That's what Nat told me to do, so that's what I did.
Must be right. Must be right then.
Not anything major. One was you had some blank information there on the health, in the health section, and it said below that you were waiting for Wax Broom, WA Country Health Service to respond, and I've just put some links in there because you can get that information. It's actually publicly available on the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare site. It's like an ABS for health, so I don't know if that's helpful, but I put the links in there anyway. And I did just want to again say that there's a lot of, and it's hard to say at the moment, but there's a lot of, concentrates a lot on disengaged youth, not marginalised youth, not youth that are engaged. So I just put that in there as a comment as well. But happy to accept the draft with those comments.
Thanks, Councillor Bond. Not aware, I hadn't seen that that feedback within the Teams group. Chris Grant, who's been working on it, may have. I'll follow that up with him tomorrow. In terms of the youth that was taken on board, we've already reached out to the school as far as they've got a semi-formal committee, which we hope to meet with as part of the engagement to capture some of that information.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Councillor Chafer.
Yeah, sorry. So the banned drinkers register has got a mention in there, but it's sort of a one-liner that implies that we're sort of working on getting it in, whereas it is running. We just need to get more people, more avenues on there. And there's also, around the littering, there's, I guess there's nothing about the broken glass strategy that we're looking at trying to get in place as well with the introduction of non-glass containers. And just one typo, on the littering thing, it's got disregarded cigarette butts, and I'm assuming that should be discarded. I do disregard them when I look at them. But
Thanks, Councillor Chafer.
Thanks, Councillor Chafer. I'll have a chat with Chris to see if we can strengthen up that banned drinkers. I might even reach out to the alcohol accord prior to going out to the community and seeing if the group is happy with some of the information that we strengthen up there.
that'll be great.
Thanks, Director Allen. Thank you for that. So with that, councillors, I'm looking for a mover and a second. The draft goes out with those minor adjustments. Councillor Chafer, thank you, moving. And a seconder, if I could. Councillor Bond. Against. All in favour? Thank you. 8-0. At page 29 of the agenda at item 12.3.2 is amendments to the Shire managed reserves, one in particular in Wyndham. CEO, I think this wasn't at briefing. You might address this one, please.
Yes, I'll pass it over to Director Allen. It's merely a procedural matter, but I'll let Director Allen explain.
Yeah, apologies, councillors, that this wasn't brought forward. It was something that came up following briefing, but effectively at the moment the land around the Wyndham swimming pool and Ted Birch is spread out over a number of reserves. Working with DPLH, we're trying to amalgamate the reserves, particularly for the pool and the Ted Birch, into one larger reserve to give us, as far as the community, the Wyndham Community Hub and the project around that, it will make the process a little bit easier as far as land use goes, keeping the land just north of that out of that reserve, because it will give us further options in the future if we want to develop that land in a different way that doesn't associate with the project and the hub.
Thanks, Director Allen. Any questions, queries on that? Councillor Chafer.
Look, only one. And we only just talked about this at our board meeting today, actually, on another piece of land. But typically when you have one piece of land, you can only have one point of attachment to Horizon Power's power supply. Otherwise, when electricians go to do any work in it, they think they've disconnected the power and they haven't. So I don't know if that's the same with reserves, whether or not you can do that, or whether or not we're going to be up for a whole bunch of expense by having to power everything through one site, one place.
Historically, with the experience that I've had merging these onto one reserve, that hasn't been the case. But I will follow up with the planning team and Horizon Power to get clarification on that. But historically, we've done it with other reserves and that hasn't been required.
Thanks, Councillor Chafer, for that one, and thanks, Director Allen, for offering to chase that one up. That could be very good to get an answer response to that in writing. Any further queries or clarifications on that item? If not, looking for a mover and a seconder, if I could. Councillor Robinson, moving. A seconder. Councillor Deere, against. All in favour? 8-0. Thank you. I'll move on to page 32 of the agenda at item 12.4, Corporate Services, the monthly financial report. Any clarification sought on that? If not, looking for a mover and a seconder, if I could. Councillor Chafer, Councillor Robinson, against. All in favour? 8-0. At page 35 of the agenda, item 12.4.2, the list of accounts paid from the municipal fund and the trust fund. Any clarification sought on that? If not, looking for a mover and a seconder, if I could. Councillor Chafer, and a seconder, if I could. Councillor Robinson, against. All in favour? 8-0. At page 37 of the agenda, 12.4.3, superannuation payments for elected members. CEO, would you like to speak to this, or your director, one of the two?
Thanks, Mr. President. This again didn't appear at the briefing session, but it crept up on us after it. With councillors being able to get access to superannuation, there's two methods of making the payments. One is on our current basis, where councillors are essentially listed as suppliers to the organisation, and the payments are made individually through our supply system, and the superannuation would be paid that way as well. The other method is for the superannuation and the members' entitlements to be paid through the payroll system. Now, that may affect the payments, particularly, I would think, for Deputy President and Shire President, because with the amounts involved, you might reach the thresholds and PAYG would be deducted. That's not a train smash from our point of view, but from mixing councillors' payments within the payroll system. Mixing councillor payments within the payroll system is not something from an administration point of view that we'd like to do. So therefore we're given the advice that we need to come to council for council to affirm that the payments of members' entitlements and the superannuation will continue as it is at the moment through our supply system.
Any discussion on that one? Clarifications? Thanks,
So that
Councillor Robinson.
resolution covers that just by adding that in there, the superannuation, just in adding that with the entitlements.
Yes, yeah, pretty much so, yep.
Yep. So if everyone's comfortable with that, looking for a mover and a seconder, if we could. Councillor Chafer, Councillor Robinson, against. All in favour? 8-0. Thank you. CEO, just on that point, a decision was made about is superannuation compulsory to councillors? That was a decision that was optional, and we've made that decision in the previous.
Yes, councillor, it's voluntary for councillors, so councillors can opt out of it. What we did as part of the budget process, we included it on the assumption that all councillors would want to opt in. No councillor has opted out of it, so we're working on that assumption that all councillors will want to have an amount of paid into their superannuation funds together with their quarterly payments.
Thanks for clarifying that, CEO. I think that's appropriate given the amount of time and effort councillors put in. So, absolutely. And might encourage more people, in some small way, might encourage more people to put their hands up when the opportunity comes around again. We'll move on to page 40 of the agenda at item 12.5, and it's infrastructure. 12.5.1 is the Kununurra Cemetery, capacity and future planning. Would the director would like to comment on anything there? If not, I'll ask if there's councillors would seek any clarifications. Councillor Schaefer.
No clarification, just I guess one thing, when we do go out to into the community engagement, if we can really just reinforce that it's not an obligation to Shire, because I wasn't aware of that until we talked about the cemetery issue, and I think most people in our community think it's a service we're obliged to offer. We're only doing it really because no one else wants to do it. So we're happy to continue to do it, but we can't without any land. That would be good to reinforce that in the communication.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Schaefer. Any other comments, clarifications? If not, item 12.5.1, looking for a mover and a seconder. Councillor Bond and Councillor Schaefer. Against? All in favour? 8-0. We look forward to an attractive piece of land becoming a little bit more visible. Page 45, item 12.5.2, request to remove tree. Any questions or clarification sought on this one? If not, looking for a mover and a seconder. For good, Councillor Bond and Councillor Schaefer. Against, all in favour? 8-0. That gets us through to items at 13, which is motions of which previous notice has been given, and we have nil. At item 14, questions by members of which due notice has been given, and we have nil. At 15, urgent business approved by a person presiding or by decision. I have nothing and not seeing anything. At 16, matters behind closed doors. I'd like to move that council closes the meeting to the public at 17:38. If I could have a seconder, Councillor Timms. Against, all in favour? 8-0. Could we close? As procedure is required, I will read this item out when we get on stream, live stream, so the public's aware of what was asked. Yep. Thank you. Welcome back. Item 16.1 was a confidential item, consideration of purchase of concrete crushing plant. The recommendation was that Council 1 approves the transfer of the sum of $320,000 from the Waste Management Reserve to the Heavy Plant Purchase Price GL 04140810 to enable the purchase and installation of second-hand crushing equipment and associated equipment. And 2, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to procure and install suitable second-hand crushing plant and associated equipment in accordance with the Shire's purchasing policy. The motion was moved Councillor Chafer, seconded Councillor Kane, and voted unanimously 8-0. Thank you all. We move to item 17, which is the closure, and I'd like to declare thank you all for attending, and thank you again for the new councillors and returning councillors. I'd like to close this meeting at 17:41. Thank you very much.